Yeah, so good evening everyone. It's almost 7, so we'll start today's session. I'm Indrani. I'm research scholar from IIT Bombay, IDP in Educational Technology. So my research interests are learning analytics, where I use students' log data to deduce their learning behavior. How do they behave in computer-based learning environment? That's my PhD thesis topic. I have done previous NPTEL TA-ship for 2 courses, Demystifying Networking and Software Conceptual Design. This is my third assignment with NPTEL. You can find the recording of today's session along with the previous sessions recording on the YouTube links, which are in the sheet which is on the Swayam platform. On left hand side there is a live problem solving session. At the bottom of the all the week's content, there this you will be directed to a Google sheet where all the recordings will be there, right? So even today's session I am recording, so it's 7, so we will start with today's session, right? So most of you know the drill. You can type in the chat box whatever your doubts are. I monitor the chat box in real time, so none of your doubts will go unanswered. Okay, so that is how we conduct the session. First we go through the assignment quiz, and then in the last half an hour from 8 to 8:30 we'll be focusing on the programming assignment, right? So without wasting much time, let's begin with the assignment quiz. Okay. Yeah. So many of questions in this week are directly from the lecture content. Yeah. So mostly we have seen that till last week there were quite many questions about predict the code, or predict the outcome of the code, or out of the following options which code will give a particular output. That kind of questions were there. But this week there are many questions which are say factual questions, recall type of questions where you need to recall certain information. So certain questions are more in this week's content. So for that you need to carefully watch the videos, as in the video content there are many things are getting covered, like how different libraries are getting used, then different inbuilt functions in Python. Likewise, this question is about the file types, how a particular file type stores data in it. So all of you would be knowing there is a file type called CSV, which is similar to the Excel sheet where we can store the data in the tabular format. Likewise there is a CSV format. So CSV, does anyone know the full form of CSV? What does CSV stand for? If you know the full form, you can answer this question. So CSV stands for, I can see somebody unmuted. Yeah, Chayaji, yes. Comma separated values. Yes, absolutely right. Ma'am, you are absolutely correct. These are comma separated values. That's the CSV stands for. So if the CSV full form is comma separated value, what will be the answer of this question? Like, values of CSV files are separated by option A commas, option B colons, option C semicolons, and option D slash. So if the CSV stands for, the short form CSV stands for comma separated values, then it will be commas, obviously, So the answer to this question will be option A. Is the yellow color visible here when I am writing, or should I change this color to something else? Yeah, so yellow color better or red color better? You guys can unmute and talk, because today we are just 10 people in the meet, so it's fine. I mean that that thing that please don't unmute, that thing doesn't apply when the less people are there. Our session can be more interactive if there are less people. So you can unmute and ask your doubts, or you can unmute and share. Yeah, so Mohak, which is visible, like yellow or red? What color should I keep? I'm asking that, like which is more legible? Red. Okay, great, let's go with red. Okay, great, thank you Shobha ji, thank you ma'am. We'll go with the red. So answer to question 1 is option A, commas. So let's go to question B. Now this code might look frightening, but we all know all the codes are even related to the content of the week, and we have seen how the for loops work, how the while loop work in last 6 weeks, so we know that. So we will not get scared with the large code snippet, but what we will do is, we'll line by line we'll try to deduce what each line is doing, what each line of code is doing. Okay, so first thing tells us that there is a function which is getting defined called spiral. So for time being I'll change it to yellow so that it is easy to understand on the black. Okay, so there is a function called spiral, and there are three parameters which are getting passed on, like row value, column value, and the array. Yeah, row, column, and array. So array is getting passed along with the number of rows and number of columns. So row start, as the name suggests, is a starting row. Row start is 0. So as you know, how do we traverse the numbers in the matrix? Like suppose this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If this is the matrix, then this is 0, 0. This is 0, 1, and this is 0, 2. Like row, column. So starting row and the starting column is always 0. The row number, the indexing starts from 0 and 0. Okay, so that's why row start and the row start and the column start values are 0. So while row start is less than row, that obviously the row value will be given by the number of rows in the matrix, and column value, the column value is number of columns in the matrix. So as long as we are within the limits of the number of rows and number of columns, these for loops will be executed. All these conditions will be executed. Yeah, that is what this while loop says. Okay, so now let's move on to the first for loop. So first for loop says that we have to traverse through the row start is 0. From 0 to, now this is the given matrix, right? So I will change this matrix to given matrix. So matrix given to us, the input matrix is 1, 2, 3, then 5, 6, 7, and then 9, 10, 11. This is the input matrix. So from here we are starting from 0 and we are going till 2, because those many numbers of rows here, right? And we are printing ith row with the column start. So column start is 0. That means all the elements from first column, right? First column. You agree with me? This print statement will print all the elements which are in the first column. Yeah, because we have seen how the array value is, how the array row, comma, column. This is how we represent the value in a matrix. Value in a matrix. So array where the index is I and the column start. So column start is constant and I value will be changing from 0 to 2. So from 0, 1 and 2, it will take 3 values. So that means it will print A of, A of 0, 1, A of 0, 2 and A of 0, 3. That means it will print the first column of the matrix, which is 1, 5 and 9. So now after that the for loop is now completed, so it will come out to this particular row. So now column start plus 1, which is equal to 1, right? Because right now column start is 0, here it is 0, now it becomes 1. So now after this we come to this for loop. This for loop says we have to go to first column, that means the middle column, second column, and we have to stop at 2 because column number of columns is 2 for us, right? Now we will print row minus 1. So what is the row value currently? Row value is 2. Yeah. So 2 minus 1, which is, row is 3. Sorry, my bad. Row value is 3 here, right? Row is 3. This is getting passed on to here, na, row. Yeah. So row value is 3. 3 minus 1, it becomes constant 2. And i's value is changing from 1 and 2. Yeah. So it will print array second row first element and array second row second element, second element and the third element, right? So it prints, God, 6 and 10. Yeah, so after 9 it prints 10 and 11, because 2 comma 1 second row, this is 2 comma 0 9, 10 is 2 comma 1 and 11 is 2 comma 2. So this 2 comma 1 and 2 comma 2, which are 10 and 11. So that is how 10 and 11 are getting printed. So we can stop right now and everyone can see option C is the answer. But let's confirm it by going to the next line of code. Yeah. So now row is row minus 1. So currently row's value is 3. So 3 minus 1 becomes 2. So now the current value of variable row is 2. Yeah. So now row start, if row start is less than number of rows, so now this row value is 2, right? So this is 2 and row start is still 1. So 1 is less than 2. So that is true. So we will go to this particular for loop. So now row is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1 and row start minus 1. So row start is still 0. So 0 minus 1 is minus 1, which means last column. Yeah, minus 1 value is last value of last index. So this will take us to the last column. And this is minus 1, which is the step for incrementing or decrementing. In this case, we will decrement it by 1 because it is minus 1. So we can either, the step value in every for loop, by default it is plus 1, but we can change it. So in this for loops case, we are making it minus 1. So we are decreasing it for every iteration. Yeah? So now this is column minus 1. So currently what is the column value? So column value is 3. So 3 minus 1, 2. So 2, that means this column, the last column, yeah, which means the last column. Yeah? And so this will give us, so we'll start from I will start from row minus 1, which is 3, currently row was 2, so 2 minus 1 is 1. So it will be of 1 comma 2. Okay, and a of, now a is decreasing, na? So it will be 0 2. Yeah, so this will be 1 comma 2, a of 1 comma 2, and this is 0 comma 2. Everybody agrees with me? So after 11, these two numbers 7 and 3 will be printed. Yeah, and we will be out of the for loop. Because this is the row start minus 1, 2 is the stopping condition for us. So we will stop here. So now column is column minus 1. Yeah? So currently column value is what? Still column value is 3. So now column value becomes 2. So now column start is less than column value. So column start has become 1. So 1 less than 2 is true. So we will go to this particular for loop, right? Because now column start value, we changed it to 1 here. And column value is 2 here. From this statement, column value we got as 2. And from this statement, column start value we got as 1. So this condition becomes true. Hence we come to this for loop. So now column minus 1, 2 minus 1 is 1, and column start minus 1. Column start minus 1 is 0, and there is minus 1. So we are decrementing. So this is the decremental step. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. Yeah. So we are step decrement. Yeah. So we are decrementing the step from 1 to 0. At 0 we will stop. Yeah. So now row start. So what is the current row start value? Did we manipulate the row start? No, right? Row start is currently 0 only. Okay, so but how row start should be 1? Where did we manipulate? Was there any row start manipulation with row start value? No? Okay, fine. So now 3. Okay, fine. So it will be okay, fine. So it will be row start value is still what it is, 1. No, it became 1 somewhere, I remember. That's why I'm looking for the row start value. Okay, fine. So a of this becomes 0 and this becomes 1. So a of 0 minus 0 1, then it becomes 0. So column start value 0. So we will stop here, right? A of 0 1 is this 2. So we will print this value 2 here, and it becomes okay. So we are row start is row start plus 1. So now row start becomes 1. So this becomes sorry, yeah, so again this will become 1 comma 1. So this will give us 1 comma 1, 6 value. So the last number to be printed will be 6. So this is what this spiral function is printing. It is printing the elements in the matrix in this spiral manner, starting from 1 5 9 10 11 7 3 2 and 6. Okay, it is a little bit confusing, but once you know how the for loop is changing and what are the variable values, it becomes easy to understand. Okay, so any doubts in this particular question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let us move on to question number 3. So now I think it is becoming easier to understand what is happening in such snippet codes, right? That is what I am getting, because earlier even for the simple for loop I used to get repeat requests, but now on I don't get that many repeat requests. So I'm guessing that every week's content is doing its job, and now like all of you are understanding what is happening inside the for loop and how a particular loop is getting executed. So that's really a good thing that nobody has doubt. Nice. Okay, so again this package turtle is again covered in the lecture. So it is another feature where we can draw. So if any one of you might have heard the turtle draw, yeah. So generally in maker spaces or where people start to learn programming, so for initial part of the programming education, many of the school kids are exposed to turtle draw, where they are supposed to give instructions to the turtle is nothing but a cursor. So that cursor will walk, and while walking it will draw certain shapes. So that is the whole concept. So generally when the kids learn programming in school, they are exposed to this turtle draw. So the whole thing for now for us, we will link this turtle with the cursor. How our cursor or the mouse pointer moves and it draws around different shapes, and how it yeah, so that is what we will be making this do. Okay, so this is our variable pen, which is turtle.turtle. So we are putting turtle as a pen or a cursor. Yeah, so we have initialized this instant. So this is nothing but the syntax. So now we are supposed to do this I in range of 3. That means 3 iterations of the loop. So what it will do is forward 60 steps and move right by 120. So this right function is to give us the angle changes, in what angle it should move, and this is the direction of movement, how many steps, right? Number of steps. Okay, so these are the two important functions. And turtle.done mein what we are doing is we are closing down this instance of turtle. That means we are stopping the drawing and we are deleting the cursor. Turtle.done. Okay, so this is again the syntax form. Okay, so we will not worry about these syntax statements. So now what is happening in the for loop, these two statements are getting executed some 3 times, right? So we will have a pen here. Suppose our cursor is here. Now it is supposed to move forward 60 steps. Yeah, so it will move in a straight line some 60 steps. Now move 120 degrees to the right. Yeah, so this is the 90 degree ka mark, this is 180 degree ka mark. From here, because to the right bol raha hai na, so sorry, yeah, ulta, I'm sorry, yeah, ulta. Okay, so this is the 90 degree mark and this is the 180 degree mark. So it is supposed to move 120 degree to the right. So that means it will change its direction here 120 degree, and it will just abhi it is pointing like this and it will become like this because the cursor has moved. Okay, so this becomes this. Now in the second loop, so this is for I is equal to 0, but now I is equal to 1. This again moves forward 60 steps and comes here like this. The position remains the same, yeah, like this. It comes here. So now again it is supposed to move 120 to right. Yeah, so 120 would be somewhere here like this. So it will change the direction. Right now it was ऐसे, abhi it will be like this. Now in I is equal to 2, which is the last loop, it is like this and it will move 60 steps. So it will reach here with the head pointed in 120 degree direction. Okay, but now it is supposed to move again in 120, which is coming back to this position. Yeah, so this way, this is 60 steps, this is 60 steps, and this is 60 steps. This external angle is 120, this external angle is 120, and this external angle is 120. So here this external angle is 120. So this gives us equilateral triangle. Yeah, so Hemanji, you're right, the correct answer is equilateral triangle. Yeah, so this is how you can draw different shapes in turtle art, right? Turtle draw or turtle art. So this particular snippet, code snippet, will give us equilateral triangle because it is traveling the equal distance and all the angles are equal. So now which of the following code will draw a hexagon? So this, I will give you some couple of minutes to think about all the codes. What do we need to draw the hexagon? How many times we are supposed to repeat certain sets of actions? Think about it. I will give you some 30-40 seconds and you can start typing in the chat box. You know, what do you think is the answer? So let's consider this as option A, this as option B, this as option C, and this as option D. So you can write which option you think would fetch us the hexagon. Okay, so I'm giving you some 10 seconds to think and then I will start talking to help you in think in proper direction, and then maybe you can start giving me your answers. So first thing what we will do is we will see for the correct syntax. Is the turtle package imported? Is the pen initiated? Is the turtle done used to close the initiated turtle variable? In all the option that is being done. So we can't rule out any option on the basis of syntax error. Okay, if B and D are looking same, then I might have mistakenly copied same thing, because even to me A and C looks the same. Yeah. Okay, let me quickly check if this is which question number. Okay, because what I did now, I took the screenshot of the code which is which was given there, and I try to copy it here, so there might be some mistake there. So let me just stop the screen share, or 8 minutes. We will just start screen share from my laptop. Oh, sorry, I can't screen share from the laptop because it's this thing, the certain permissions, because the screen recording is going on, so I can't start the, but I will just check once. We are on the question 4. Yeah, I will. Okay, let us see. I'm just clicking a photograph of options through my iPad, and then we can start. ठीक है, we will do this. Yeah, you can see the screen. Let me just go to the images and we will, yeah. So here is the option C and D. Okay. So option C and D are here. This is the option C and D. So it is 6 times it is doing this action. Move pen move right and then forward 60 times. Then in option D also the same action is getting done 6 times. Pen moving to the right 30 steps and forward 60 steps. 30 degrees of angle it is moving, and moving forward 30 steps. That is happening 6 times in option D. And in option C, pen is moving right in 30 degrees and then moving forward 60 steps, right? And now let us go back to check what was happening here in the, yeah. So this was happening 6 times and this was happening 6 times, but this wasn't there, and this was 30. So these were the options. Okay, this was 30. Okay, so now you can, instead of this 3, it is 6 times. Yeah. So now, okay, so mostly you think the correct answer looks like option C. Okay, so we will try to execute this option C first. Okay, so let us see, this triangle is a pen. So triangle I am choosing so that we can depict the angle of rotation. Okay, so now it is moving to the right by 60 degrees. Okay, so right now it is like this. So let us see. Okay, wait. Right now say it is like this. For it, forward direction is this. So now it moves in right 60 degrees. So that means it becomes something like this. The angle becomes 60 and it moves 60. So it comes here 60. Now for it is the 0 degree, it is the 90 degree format. So now 60 degree, that means it will rotate like this and move 60. So now again 6 times, so it will move 60 like this somewhere here. Yeah, it will be here like this and move 60. So it is moving first and then it is changing the angle first and then moving. Okay. So 1 2 3 times हो गया. Then for now it is direction is like this, so it will change the direction and move like this. Now this is 60. Again it will change the direction, move like this. So this was 1 2 3 4 and 5. Again change the direction and move 60 degrees. So 60 degrees. So it is giving hexagon. Okay, so now, yes, Swapnil, I was coming to that only, that option B and C both give the same output, that is hexagon. Yeah, but the thing is, first, second, third, fourth and fifth. Okay, fine. So what is happening here in option B is, it is like this and it will move some 60, it will first move 60 degrees to the right and then 60 steps. Okay, 60 degrees to the right and then 60 steps. So this is happening in one iteration. This is the option B. Then again this is the second iteration and this is the third iteration. So it is also giving us the hexagon. Yeah, so both these options are giving us the hexagon. Now we will try executing right and forward 60 60. Okay, let me just once again confirm. Yeah, it was right 30 and forward 60. Yeah, so option C was 30 60. Yeah, and not, my bad, what is happening? So this was 30, so this becomes out of question because it is moving 30 degrees. Yeah, so this will not be the correct answer, but only option C is giving us hexagon. I'm sorry, my mistake, I copied the same options twice in the PPT. I'm extremely sorry for the confusion. This was the 30 degrees here, so that's why this cannot be the answer. Yeah, so now this moves right 60 degrees and moves forward 60 degrees, but this is getting executed just thrice, so even this will not give the hexagon. And here this part is not there, it is like right in the right it is moving 60 degrees and it is just going on 30 steps, and this is happening 6 times. But since it is 30 steps, it will not give us the complete hexagon, the points will not meet. Yeah, so that's why the correct answer is this option B and not the D, not C and not A. Yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion, guys, please, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. This is really very confusing questions and I messed up in copying the options. I'm really very sorry. But I hope you understand how option B gave us the correct hexagon, right? So Swapnil, B and C are not the same. They don't give the same output because here the moving angle is 30 degrees. Yeah, so it will not give us the same output. Yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion. I'm really very sorry. Yeah, so this those who have seen the videos can answer this question. Which of the following libraries used to render data on the Google Maps? So this is something recall based theory question. If you have watched the video, anyone who has watched all the videos of week 7? No, Google Maps is not correct answer. Yes, ggplot is the correct answer, Shobhaji. Yeah, Maheshji, there was a lot of disturbance from your end. We could not hear what you said. So if you can type in the chat box, that would be better. Yeah, so Shobhaji is right. The correct answer is ggplot and not the Google Maps. So generally these libraries they help us in integrating, or there is no answer to this how question, Bala, because some libraries are you can download those libraries. They are available on the net, and they will help us in integrating different applications with Python. So when you want to use Python to integrate different applications like Google Maps, or if you want to say do some kind of machine learning, you want to run some machine learning algorithms using Pythons, and then there is TensorFlow. If you want to render some graphs and some fancy visualizations, then there is Matplotlib. So these are the libraries. So they have fixed names. You can download those libraries and install it in your computer, and then access through import statement. So when we do import, so most common library in Python is pandas. Import pandas as PD. So pandas allows us to convert our data into, or we can declare dictionaries. So you remember in week 2 and 3 we dealt with the data types of dictionaries, week 3 I think, yeah. So for those dictionaries, this is the library which we use, pandas, yeah, and this is one of the most common libraries of Python. So similarly, one such library of Google which allows us to render, oh sorry, yeah, can you see the this thing now, slides? Yeah, great. Yeah, so this, if you want to use Python programming for applications like location tracking or GPS tracking, yeah, if you want to develop some tracking app using Python, yeah, so then what you will do is you will map the coordinates, or you will plot the coordinates on the Google map, so that the other person should get the real-time location of a particular person. So those coordinates you will need to render on the map, right? So for that purpose, gmplot is the library which will help us, right? So we have to use this gmplot. Yeah, so seriously there is no answer to how, but I tried to explain it. Yeah, oh, glad that you understood, right Bala? You understood that there are different libraries likewise to help us with the different functionalities. Yeah, so there's no how, but that is how that happens. Yeah, no answer to how, but yeah, that's the way things are. Oh, again turtle comes. Yeah, so this time we are supposed to guess the output of this code. Yeah, so this will happen some 3 times. So this is 3 iterations. So for I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, and I is equal to 2. So these things will be executed thrice. So what is happening here? Let us try to render it in the red color. Yeah? So first it is moving 60 degrees to the right. So if this is the direction, then the new direction it will move in 60 degrees. So it becomes like this, and it moves forward 60 steps. Now this pen up is what? Pen up and pen down are the actions. 2 actions which are part of this turtle art. So pen is the instant of this turtle. So pen up is we are lifting the pen, like pen up, and pen down is when you're writing something, like I am putting my pen down, so I am writing on this sheet, I made this cursor. But pen up, now I am not writing, even though cursor is moving, it is not getting rendered on the screen. So this is pen up and pen down. Yeah, so pen up is we stop writing. So now write 60, again we are moving 60. So now cursor will be like this, forward 60. But will this be rendered? Because it is pen up. Yeah, so you need to think about that. And now we are putting pen down. So from here the pen is down. Again for the second iteration, it is coming here, moving to 60 degrees, going forward 60 steps, pen up, then moving right, going forward, and then pen down. So this will be 1, 2, this will not be rendered, this will not be rendered, this is 3, it will be rendered, and the joining, it will not be rendered. So the correct answer should be option D. Okay, Ananya, I'm confused. Why do you think the correct answer is option B? Like, let me see. So, this is A, this is B, and this is C, and this is D for me. Okay. So, Ananya, you still are with the option B, circle, or you want to say option C or D? Okay, C. So since it is first, yeah, Bala, I'm taking up your doubt how to solve these type of questions. So, like, what I generally do is we will try to imitate the compiler. We will go through the code one by one, and then we will try to guess what is happening in that code. Okay, yeah. So ठीक है. So now Swapnil is asking what is the default action of the turtle, like before we give any command, and Birendra is also interested in knowing how this is the output. Okay, so I will just remove these underlines and we will go through these output once again. Yeah. So first step is as Swapnil's question. So by default, moving forward is this direction, because our screen coordinates the pixels. They start from top bottom, and generally we move the positives are in this direction. Our default actions for computer is this direction. Yeah. So we assume that our cursor is also. So I am erasing this and let us do it again. So this is our default cursor right here. So let us move this cursor a bit to the right. Yeah. So this is our default cursor. So now first statement mein what is happening, it is moving right in this 60 degrees angle. So forward and backward mein the cursor moves forward or comes backward. So the movement of cursor is through forward and backward, but the rotation of the cursor, the direction of the cursor is through right and left. How many angles to the right and how many angles to the left? That is how we determine the direction in which the cursor moves. So firstly, we are moving the pen to the right. So this is the right. This will be the right. So 60 degrees. So this will become like this. Yeah. And now it will move forward 60 steps. So now still it is like this, but now pen up. Pen up is we stop writing, we lift the pen up. So now with pen up, if I'm moving my cursor, will it render anything on screen? No, right? It will not render, but your cursor will move. Yeah. So by 60, it will move 60 degrees to the right and move forward 60 steps. So that means it will move 60 degree and move forward 60 steps. Yeah. So let me put this in the dotted line. Yeah. It comes here 60 steps, but this will not get printed. This will not get printed. So now direction is this. Now pen down. That means the cursor becomes visible again. So now we go to I is equal to 1, the second iteration. Yeah? So now pen moves 60 degrees in the right. So now the movement direction is this, but the new direction becomes 60 degrees and 60 steps. So the new cursor comes here at this step, move forward. But now it is pen up. So that means it will move 60 degrees to the right and forward 60 steps like this, but this will not get printed because our pen is up. Yeah. So now pen down, that means the cursor will be visible here. So again I is equal to 2, third iteration. It will move in 60 degrees and print. Cursor will be here. Now pen up, so cursor will not be visible. This will be the dotted line and cursor will be here at the end of the execution of this for loop. Yeah, Hemant, why don't you unmute and tell me if I'm wrong? I did not understand your doubt. You just said no. You can tell us how I'm wrong. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought I'm doing something wrong and you might be able to correct me. So I asked you that you can, yeah, if I'm doing something wrong, if some of my concepts are wrong, then you can obviously point out, because all of us, we don't know each and everything about everything. So even I can make mistakes. Yeah. So, but do you agree with me that this will be the option D will be the correct answer? Yeah. Okay. Great, great. So now, Ananya, do you agree? Yes. Great, great. So now, no confusion how this is like pen up and pen down works. So when we do pen up, even though the cursor will move, but it will not get printed. Yeah. So moving on to which turtle command is equivalent to lifting up a pen? We discussed this. Yeah, pen up and pen down. Yeah, pen down is yeah, this is the pen after pen down, and pen up is nothing will get printed, but cursor will move. Yeah. So when you want to move the cursor in a pattern, and if you want to print something in a pattern, right, 3 iterations will not affect it, Roshan. We saw every time how the direction of the cursor, no, this triangle, this points to the straight direction. So moving 60 degrees to the right, the cursor becomes like this, and it moves 60. So right now here the cursor is heading here, but it stops here after 60 steps. Now here it moves to the right 60 degrees, so it becomes like this, and it moves 60 steps, so goes like this. So 3 iterations will not affect. In fact, effect of this 3 iteration is cursor will reach here at the end of all the for loops. So that's why at the end the cursor is here, or better word, turtle is here. Yeah, or turtle is pointing here. That's how after 3 iterations it will work. Yeah. Okay, great. So now you're clear, right? No confusion. So this is the pen up and pen down. So if pen up will not print anything, then why do we even need pen up? So like here we printed these 3 lines. Even these could be printed using pen up and pen down. Option C could be printed using pen up and pen down. So when we want to draw certain patterns where we don't want to print something which is lying somewhere in between, we don't want to print that, but we want cursor to maintain certain directions. At that time we will use this pen up and pen down. Okay. So moving on to question 8. Now this we have done it quite a lot of times. We have defined the functions, we have used the functions like so many times. So this should be very easy for all of you. We discuss about this almost in every programming assignments also, and during questions also. Yes, so I'm getting a lot of correct answers in the chat box. So yes, all of you agree with me that all of the above is the correct answer. So how do we improve the readability? Obviously, readability is when you write a certain set of code, and when others are supposed to go through that code, then when you define any function, it obviously improves understandability and the readability of your code. Because that function is doing something, then it becomes easy to understand. Then to reuse the code blocks. Of course, when you want to perform certain set of tasks again and again, you define a function and you call that function again and again, instead of writing or repeating that thing again and again. So same thing recursive will also do, yes, of course, but there is a difference between recursive block of code and the function. Yeah, even a function can be recursive, right? But every time a recursive code will not be a function. Yeah, so don't go there, like don't get confused. So don't get confused between recursivity and the function here, okay? And for ease of code debugging, so yes, obviously this is also checked, this is also checked, and this is also checked. Yeah, so all of the above is the correct answer. Yes, Bala, you're right, all of the above is correct most of the times. Almost every time, more than 2 of these options A, B, C we can do by use of program. Either it will help us in debugging or finding mistakes in our lines of code, or it will improve the reusability, it will improve the readability. Yeah. So moving on to question 9. Again, the library which is used to import images. So to render graphs and images, I told you it was matplotlib, but to import images, it is PIL. Yeah, option A. So I've started getting correct answers in the chat box. That's good, great. Yeah, so this is covered in the your snake and ladder lectures, when the game is tried to be simulated. So this comes there, which image will allow us to have that thing in background. Yeah, so this is the correct answer. The PIL library is used for importing images, and then we can work on that. Yeah? So coming to the last question of the assignment, in snake and ladder, what can be the ways to track the ladders and snakes? Yeah, so again, this also you can answer. For this question also, you won't be needing my help, because we have seen how the conditions are to be checked, how conditions are checked, and what is the output, and we have also used the dictionaries as well. Yeah? So all of you can understand option A, what is meant by option A and what is meant by option B. Yeah, so the correct answer, I'm getting some of you are thinking it is just option B, and some of you are thinking it is just option A. Okay, so let us go. Maintain dictionary with snakes or ladder number blocks as keys. So only this thing is enough to track where the ladders and snakes are and how the players are going to that position. Only that is enough. Maybe that is not enough, because we need to check if at a particular position, if there is a snake, if there is a ladder, and then accordingly we need to change the position of the player again. Yeah, so we need to check the condition also on every number, right? If that number is or if that block number is matching with the snake and ladder number, by how many times the positions to be shifted, so we need to use combination of these two, both A and B. Yeah, so the correct answer is option C. Okay, so we are done with the assignment questions of this week. Now let's move on to programming assignments. Yeah, so this week we will be dealing with the matrices for all our programming thing. Yeah, so generally what happens is, don't get confused by the input statements. I'm using those input statements because our Swayam platform has its own test cases given to us, and in those test cases, the way in which the input is given, that is how our Python codes get tested for its workability. So if we have input in some other format, then it will not work on the Swayam platform. On Swayam, it will not be considered as a proper or working code. So that's why don't get confused with my input statements. I generally share my Colab notebooks in the folder, so you can go through, you can access that code, and you don't need to, you will understand that how I'm using for loop in a input statement. Okay, so this is my sincere advice to all of you, that don't get confused when you encounter the input statement in my code. Okay, so we will not be dealing with how we are inputting 3x3 matrix, or how we are doing that. We will not be discussing that, but we will be discussing the main logic. Yeah, so let's come to the main logic of the question 1. So question 1 says, we are given a matrix M, so we have to write a function diag_calc, which calculates the sum of left and right diagonals and print respectively. So this is our given matrix. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, no, it is 3 4 5, 3 4 5 and 6 7 8. So 3 is repeating. Yeah, so this is the right diagonal, and this is the left diagonal. So we are supposed to write a function which will give us sum of these 3 elements and these 3 elements. Okay, so let us write their indices. this is 0 0, this is 0 2, this is 1 comma 1, this is 2 comma 0, and this is 2 comma 2. Yeah, so this is how we will get the left diagonal and right diagonal. So now we are supposed to write a function in which these three and these three elements will be added separately, and giving the output will be given separately. Okay, so for loop for I in range of how many numbers, say for I in range of length of matrix M. Yeah, so if we are working, then we need to, this is the matrix M 0 comma 0 plus M 1 comma 1 plus M 2 comma 2. This will give us summation of a right diagonal, right diagonal. And now we need to think about this 0 2 1 1 and 2 0. Yeah, so I will, for this iterations, for this for loop, the I value will start from 0 1 and 2. Yeah, so these are the I values. So 0 1 2, so here the number of rows are 0 1 2, but the number of columns are 2 1 0, right? So this will be I'm sorry, I'm again on this only, M of 1 1, M of 2 2. So this will be M of I, because I is equal to 0, and this will be M of I in second iteration, because now I value is 1. In third iteration I becomes 2. Yeah, so the right diagonal, the element is M of I, right? So we don't need to, so Swapnil, we don't need to check all the conditions, but we can just iterate it thrice and return the element M, I and I. So ith row and ith column. When this number will be same, na, I and I. So M 0 comma 0, M 1 comma 1, and M 2 comma 2. So when we add this in for loop, we will get the this 13 number, addition of the right diagonal, this 1 4 and 8, 1 plus 4 plus 8, 13. Now we need to think about how we will get this 0 2 M of 1 1 and M of 2 0. Yeah, so we need to decrease this number, right? So how we are going to do so minus 1, this is like last, and then we will add where did my pen go? Okay, yeah. So this is how we will, so minus 1 will give us the last column value, right? All of you, we have seen that how to address the last element or the last index of any array or matrix. So this last index is minus 1, right? Last index is minus 1. So now if we take this last index, so minus 1, and if we start adding I value to this, minus 1 plus I. So in first iteration, minus 1 will give us 2, last index, so will be 2. Minus 1 plus I is 0. It will be minus 1, which will be the last column value. Right, you agree? Now in second iteration, I is equal to 1. So this becomes 2 minus 1. Because now we know minus 1 is last column index, so it will return 2. So 2 minus 1, which is 1, and in third it is 2, so 2 minus 2, it is 0. So it will be m of I, this is last column 2, then this is 2 minus 2 1, then it will be 2 and 2 minus 2 0. Yeah, so we will be using this property of last index is minus 1. You know the round robin, how we connect the first index and the last index. So that is how we are using this, because we will not be sure every time. In the input also, we are not asked anywhere the number of elements, how many elements are there, or what is the other way to do when we know the number of elements and if the matrix is symmetrical, or like 3 by 3 matrix, 5 by 5 matrix, 6 by 6 matrix. If it is that case, then there is another way to do it. Yeah, so we will calculate the number of columns here. Yeah, and we will just add minus 1 in the for loop. We will modify the column value like column, and it will be column minus 1, and this will be I column, like m of I is row and column value. Yeah, okay, I will again repeat it. So one way or the easy way out doing both the things in the same loop, same for loop, is using the last index of any matrix or any array is minus 1. So using minus 1 minus I and I. Yeah, okay. Now should I erase whatever I have done? Then I can maybe explain more properly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is our input, like 1 2 3 3 4 5 and 6 7 8. Now index of 1 is 0, 0. These are the diagonal element, right? This is the right diagonal and this is the left diagonal, sorry, and this is the left diagonal, right Birendra? These are the diagonal elements. So we need to add 1, 4 8 and 3 4 and 6. Yeah, so let us write down their indices. Yeah, so this is 0, 0, this is 1, 1, and this is 2, 2. So if we run a for loop, how we will represent these elements? M of I, right? M I square bracket I square bracket in the for loop will give us 1, 4 and 8, right? This will return us 1, 4 and 8. So now let us come to indices of these elements. Like index of 3 is 0, 2, 1, 1, and this is 2, 0, right? So one way to do is declare one variable column and modify that column. So this is what I was doing here. So there is a variable called column, which is the number of columns n. So now in this will be outside for loop. So in the for loop, what we can do is we can add some right or whatever the variable, that will be m of I. Sum right is equal to old sum right value plus m of I. So this will give us the 1, 4 and 8 ka summation. But now sum left will be is equal to old sum left plus how we will get this 0, 1, 0, 2? M of I, because row is incrementing, row value is 0, 1, 2. So I we can reuse there, but for columns is decreasing by 1. Yeah, So for columns we need to have another variable called column, yeah, so which will be 3, so call -1, huh? So now new which will be n minus 1, so here it will be call, so n minus 1 is, this is 3 by 3 matrix, so n's value will be 2 here, so m of I comma 2 which will be 0 comma 2, and now call is call -1. So this is part of for loop. This is all will be part of for loop. So this is how you can, so now you understood, now everybody has understood. So this is the one way to do it, or other way to do it is, if you don't want to ask from user what is the length or what is the number of columns in that thing, so in that case what we can use is the property of the last index. So last index is always -1. You recall, we have seen that n number of times how -1 fetches as the last element in the list, last element in the array. Similarly, it will give us the last element index. So, and we have to reduce it by 1. So simply -1 minus I will, in the for loop, will also give the same output, right? All of you agree with me? Yeah, so should we go and check the code? So this is my function. Same here, what is count L is giving us left side diagonal count, and count R is right side diagonal count. Yeah, so this is what I am doing. Plus equal to will give us addition of count L is equal to count L plus m of I, and count R is equal to count R plus m of I into -1 minus I. Yeah, so this is how I am doing it in one for loop, 2 simple steps, using the -1 is the index of the last element, and now we are printing it. Yeah, so in the for loop what I am doing is, I am taking input as number of rows or number of columns. Yeah, number of rows we are taking as an input, and then an empty array is declared. So now in the for loop, for 1 to n, this is what is happening. I am converting it into integer, all the input. So now this input dot split we have used many times. So now this map is, what does map do? Map combines the two functions. No, I don't think so, Ananya. You will not get turtle based programming questions. I don't think so you will have, but you will have the search algorithms like bubble sort, sorting algorithm, searching algorithm wala questions, you might have it. Or mostly it will be like these questions which are part of assignment questions, like transposing a matrix, or giving the sum of the first row or sum of the first column, something like that. Mostly turtles will not be given. The turtle art type of questions will not be asked. Yeah, so this is whole for loop is like for inputting one row after another. So this list is what I am converting it into a list of elements for a row, and then matrix may it is getting added. Yeah, so that means after one row, the second row is getting is being part of the matrix. So this is the declaration of matrix, empty matrix M, and then slowly from here we are adding or we are appending every row to that particular matrix. So this for loop is purely for inputting and converting those numbers into a matrix. Yeah, you can reuse this code as it is. Yeah, so now let's try and execute this. So what is the number we want to enter? So let's enter 3, 3. So now 1 space 2 space 3. This is our first line. So now second, 3 space 4 space 5. And the third line was 6 space 7 space 8. Yeah? So now it will give us 13 and 13. So that was the expected output, right? Here 13 and 13 is the output. Yeah. So we have, this is how we will do the diagonal addition of the matrix, right? So moving on to second assignment, in which we are supposed to write make the transpose of a matrix. So what is transpose means? We are converting rows into columns and columns into rows. It is the easy way to do. Yeah. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 8 9 is our input. So 0 0 0 1 0 2, and this is 1 0 1 1 1 2. This is 2 0 2 1 and 2 2. So now transpose of this will be 1 4 7 2 5 8 and 3 6 9. Yeah? So the first now this will remain 0 0. 4 ka old was 1 0, it should become now 0 1. 7 ka 2 0, it should become 0 2. Yeah, similarly 2's it was 0 1, it will become now 1 0. 5 will remain 1 1. Here it will 8 will become 1 2. Instead of 2 1, it will become 1 2. So 3 will be here 2 0. Earlier it was 0 2. 6 1 2, but here it will become 2 1. 9 2 2. Yeah. So this is easy. We just have to shift I and j, rows and columns. So here what we will do, instead of one loop we will do two loops. Yeah. So for rows and for I in rows and for j in columns. So this will be the say old metric, new metric n of I and j would be m of j and I, something like this. No, we just interchange I and j, and we will print this and we will get the transpose. Yeah. So all of you understood that we just have to change the rows with columns. So here it was I first and j later, it becomes j first and I later. That's the only thing we have to do here for this particular questions. Okay. So let's go to see the code. Maybe the code, when you see it in the code, you will understand. Yeah. So now we are calculating row length and column length. Yeah. So as a difference, so how we are, length of a matrix will give us number of rows in a matrix, and length of a column, 0th column, is the first column. How many elements are in the first column? How many elements are in the first row? First row. That will give us the column number. Yeah. So here are the total number of rows and this is the total number of columns. Yeah. And this is the empty matrix. So here I had used this n as a matrix to store the transpose. So here we are using the answer matrix. Answer matrix, this answer to store the transpose. So there are two, one for column loop and one for row loop. So answer of element I will be appending. So here it becomes j of I in the ith row. Yeah. So we are not swapping the numbers, but we are declaring another matrix called answer matrix, and we are storing, or we are populating that matrix in that position. Yeah, list is not getting separated by comma, but list is getting separated by spaces. Yeah, so here you are talking, Shobhaji, right? This statement, L list. Yeah, so this is not getting separated by commas but getting separated by space. So if you want to get it separated by comma, we'll just add comma in the single quote in the inside this split bracket. Right now the bracket is empty. That means whenever the space encounters, we will convert every individual number into integer, and we will all the integer we will append it to a list L. So that becomes one row. So this L becomes one row, and m dot append means that one row gets added to the matrix M, that gets populated as part of the matrix M. So the same function we are using here. We are appending or we are populating this answer matrix for every row. So here this column I is column for this, no, that is becoming row here, and j is number of row, that is becoming column here. So that is how we are transposing or changing the row with column. Okay. So now we will have some 3 by 3 matrix, let's say 1, 2, 3. This is the first row. Then the second row becomes 4, 5, 6. The third row 7, 8, 9. Okay. So input was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but the output was 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8 and 3, 6, 9. So this is the third row, this is the second row, and this is the first row. So is it matching with what we had here? First row 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8 and 3, 6, 9. So this is, yes, 3, 6, 9. Okay, so list in list was not getting separated by comma. Shobhaji, can you unmute and ask your doubt? I did not quite get what you're trying to ask. Or did I answer your query? I think I spoke something about separation by comma, but I'm still not sure if I have answered your query. Okay, Ananya, are you... Microphone is not working. Okay, so list in list was not getting... I'm sorry, but can you elaborate in the chat box only what you're trying to ask? So I'll try to answer from my side that why I have used certain things. Yeah, so meanwhile, Ananya, did you get how we are not using third variable? Because we are not swapping anything, but we are creating a new matrix only. And this is the way, so this last line, the output line, is the way how the matrix gets printed, you know. The elements of it gets printed row wise. Every element are part of one square bracket. So these one square bracket 1, 4, 7 is the first row, 2, 5, 8 is the second row, and 3, 6, 9 is the third row. Yeah, Shobhaji, this is what you want to put as input, or you're talking about the output? Okay, output. Okay, great. So Shobhaji, as I explained, one square bracket contains all the elements of row. Yeah, so the first row of a matrix M will be in first square bracket, and the values will be separated by comma. So now the second row is separated by comma there. So are you asking that why? Because this is not list. We are printing the matrix here. We are not printing the list. Yeah, using this function here, we used list to store value of one row of matrix, and here we are adding that list to matrix M. Yeah, so we are adding this list to this matrix M. Okay. So here, using this append, we are adding this list as the row in the matrix M. Yeah, so that is, we are not printing it as a list, but we are printing it as a matrix. So that's why the comma becomes it becomes part of the data type of matrix, like 2D array. It is not a 1D array like list, it's a 2-dimensional array. So that's why the comma is here between the number of rows and number of columns. Yeah, I hope I was able to address your doubt. I hope that yes was for the doubt. You can type in yes again if I have clarified why there is comma in the output. Okay, great. Thank you, Shobhaji. So let's move on to question 3 and quickly try to wrap up today's session. Given the matrix M, we are supposed to write a function snake that accepts matrix M and returns a list which contains elements in the snake pattern of matrix M. Okay, so let us forget this given example here. Let us have our own simple example. So this is the simple 3 by 3 matrix. So all of you are you aware of a game called Snake? There was in old mobile phones there used to be a game Snake, in which Snake used to eat all the patterns in the screen, and it used to move like this. Yeah, so this is what the not really spiral you can say, Swapnil, but it is like first row, element first to 3, then second row element 3 to 1, and then the third row 1 2 3. So that means so this is the 0th row for, right? So it's the even row, this is the odd row, and this is the even row again, because it is 0, it is 1, and it is 2. Yeah, right? This is 0, this is 1. So for even, it goes from 0 1 2. The index goes from 0 1 2. When it is odd, the index goes from 2 1 0. Again it is even, then it will go from 0 1 2. The index, I am talking about index. So this is how it should go, like this, you know? Like this, then like this, then like this. So not exactly spiral, but yeah, not linear linear traversal, but for all the even rows it will go from 0 to the last column value. Then for the odd number of rows, it will come from the last to the first value. You know, all of you agree? For the odd, say, so this is the 0th row, like the index will be 0. This is the first row, the index of this particular row will be, row index will be 1. For this particular row, the row index will be 2. Yeah, so what we can say is even index row 0 1 2 3 and so on. For odd index row, till n minus 1 3 2 1 0. Yeah, this will be the traversal pattern. So first we will check if the row even or row odd, and then we will traverse through all the elements of the row. Likewise, you know, if even, then start from 0, stop at n. If odd, start at n, stop at 0. All of you agree this is how we will get this traversal, this kind of traversal? Yeah, because here if you carefully see what is happening in the example, is first row in this manner, right? This is the first row. The second row from 8 to 81, 8 56 39 81, second row in this manner. Third row from 28 to 58, 28 43 61 58, in this direction. Then third row third row should be like this, no? Okay, fine. Let's go and have a look at the code. Okay. So first row of elements are from left to right, second row from right to left, and third row from left to right, like so on, the ulta and all, the same thing I was talking about that. So here what is happening, I am calculating the row length, as length of matrix n will give us number of rows, and length of matrix of 0th row will give us number of columns. So this I am storing as row length and column length, and there is an empty matrix called answer, A and C. So for all number of rows, what we need to check? We need to check if the number of row is even or not. So this is checking if the row is even or not. I mod 2 will give us all the even number of rows. Okay? So in that, so in that we need to go from left to right, right, in the 0, 1, 2, 3 manner. So the simple for loop with no anything. So all the elements we are going through. So these all the elements, first element, second element is getting added to this J. Else, now otherwise what is happening is L is equal to M of I. Okay. So if it is not odd, then we are storing the value of whatever the value of matrix in the variable L. So now what is happening is, in the for loop where it is not, so this is for odd, no? This is else part is for odd, when the index is not even. So what is happening here for the for loop, we need to traverse from right to left. That means it has to be from last element to the first element, right? So it should start from -1. -1 will give us the last index, right? So last element to the first element. So first element is, यहाँ पे we have gotten the column length. So column length -1, and we are decrementing it by -1, and we are adding it to this list L, and we are appending this list L to the answer. Yeah, you understood how we are traversing it in the reverse order, in the reverse direction. Again, similarly, I have taken this input in the for loop, where one row at a time, elements in the one row at a time, and then I am appending that list to matrix as a one row. So this is how in the for loop I am getting the input from the user, and here we are done. For all the even elements, we are accessing from 0th index to last index. For all the odd rows, for row 1, 3 and so on, we are doing it in the reverse order, from the last index to the first index. So let us run this and check. So let us see here 3. First row, this is the second row, and this is the third row. So it should go 1, 2, 3, and then 6, 5, 4, and then 7, 8, 9. So it is going in correct order. So for the second row, it is coming in reverse order. For third row, it is again going in the increasing order, like 0, 1, 2. Yeah. So this is how it will happen. So what was the takeaway in today's programming assignment thing? So first thing is we need to use index and index of matrix and for loop. Yeah, how to use the index, how we need to use the index of matrix and the for loop, how we interchange that, how we decrease and increase that. uh, yes, Kiru Bagari, you have raised your hand, you can unmute and talk here.
Ma'am, thanks for the online session. So it made us very clear about the assignment problem, how to do the assignment problems.
Okay.
My doubt is connected with the marks which is shown up in the portal. So I have my app in Swayam app in my mobile, and I have also logged in the my laptop.
Okay.
In some assignments, I have scored 100 out of 100, but it is showing as 92 and 94. So I have made a mail and asked about my doubts, why you have a difference in marks in both the portal and as well as the web page. Still, I don't get any answers. Will it affect my assignment marks? I need to know this, ma'am.
I think you can attempt the assignment multiple times, and that the best effort is considered in the final final you can say the calculations of your the score, the final score for the subject. But I will advise that you keep sending them messages, emails, and if possible attach the screenshots where your score is like 100 out of 100. Please try to give them the proof that you have done it correctly, and still the portal is not reflecting.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, because that always helps. Let the NPTEL people know that you are attempting everything correctly, and at your end you are seeing the number as 100 out of 100, whereas the portal or their database is not getting reflected properly.
Okay.
Yeah, so if
Okay,
you
ma'am.
give that proof, that should be helpful.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
No, Ananya, we are not taking input just for the matrix size. We are taking input for the matrix also. So you will see I'm using here the first n int input is for the length of the what you can say, the columns or the rows. Yeah, so here so this is the number of rows, n, and m is the empty matrix. So what here is happening here, it is the second input statement over here, if you can see. Yeah, so in this I am taking input for each row of the matrix. Yeah, not so this is the element. Yeah, this is the, these are the elements of the matrix. Yeah, it is happening. These are the elements of the matrix. Yeah, and these are the number of rows, and here each row elements. Yeah. So you will get these for loop. This is not very difficult to understand. Yeah, you can fairly remember this. The only part which was difficult to understand was this logic, that how we are going from 0 to n, then from n to 0, and then again from 0 to n, and this even odd thing, even and odd. So if you have understood that, this program becomes fairly simple. So map is the another generic function where you want to club two or more things together on any data type. You can use this map. So what I'm doing is, in the map I'm trying to combine multiple inbuilt functions. I'm trying to declare a list L, and I want input from user, and I want it in the typecasted in the integer. So these three things I want to combine in one line. So that's why I have used map. So what map is doing is, there are input is another function and int is typecasting. So I want this int to be iteratively used for all the elements which I am inputting, which I am taking from user. So I am taking multiple elements from the user which are split using the space. So whenever the space occurs, those numbers are getting split and converted into individual numbers which are of the type integer. Yeah, so all these elements I want it in the list. So that's why what map does is it maps this function iteratively here. So instead of for loop, I'm using the map function. So map allows me to iteratively implement this. So why I'm not using for loop? Because every row can have multiple columns. Like say for example, this could be like 5 elements in a row and 3 rows. Yeah, so let us input so let us input 3 number of rows but enter 5 elements. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, no, 7. Yeah, 5 elements. And now 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so I'm saying comma, but comma is for our understanding. Yeah, so now this was the matrix. Yeah, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the correct traversal, right? So this is what map function is doing. The number of columns could be multiple, so that's why I have not used for here. Otherwise, till last week we were using the for loop to get the numbers of elements in the list in a single line. Yeah, but because it's a matrix and we don't know how many number of columns are there, so I'm just asking how many number of rows, and those many times I am iterating this line in the for loop. Like I can have as many elements as I want in a list, so that doesn't restrict my input data type, no? So that's why I've used it this way. Any more doubts? Is it clear, Ananya? Yeah, so this for loop is not really very difficult. It's fairly simple, fairly easy. Yeah. So the only difficult thing was we tackled in the our discussion, developing of algorithm. So there we saw how elements in the from left to right and right to left, what does that mean? So if there are no more doubts, then we can close today's session. Yeah, can we close today's session? Okay, great. Thank you. So I assume there are no more doubts, and thank you for joining. We'll meet next week. Do we have any? No, Swapnil, no. I don't have access, or I don't have previous year's question papers. I just have access to the previous year's assignment questions. So that is what I'm practicing with you guys. I don't have access to previous exam question papers. Won't be able to help you out there. Since this course is very popular, you can try searching it on Google. Maybe somebody might have some information about what kind of questions are asked. As far as I know, you will have a separate programming exam, and the separate exam, the MCQ type thing. So the MCQ type exam will be like the assignment quizzes which we practice, and the programming exam would be like the programming assignments which we practice. So if you practice these questions which we are doing currently, the previous runs questions, and this time whatever the programming assignments are there, what kind of questions are there, the similar nature questions will be asked in your programming exam. And in the MCQ type exam also the similar questions, because what we are practicing in these sessions and what kind of questions are there in the current assignments, those are also similar in nature. So similar type questions will be coming for your final exam as well. So don't worry if you are going through the lectures and attempting the assignments and practicing previous year's assignment. I think that is more than enough for you to score really well in this exam. Yeah, so don't worry. Yes, of course, covering all the assignments and live classes, and of course you need to watch the online lectures, the uploaded videos. Yeah, the videos which are uploaded, you need to watch that and do whatever is asked in those online lectures also. You need to contribute in the forum. Have interaction with the TAs in the forums also. So try to answer or try to raise queries in forums where the TAs will be answering your questions. If you don't understand anything from the lectures, along with that, there are these sessions are there to help you solve the previous year's assignment. So these sessions and that practice is, I think, more than enough to get you through the exam. Okay guys, thank you for joining. I'm ending the session. Thanks a lot.